Hello, the name is Sir Gurodis. You've probably already heard of me, but just in case you haven't for whatever reason, I am a knight of much renown in these parts. Recently, my Jarl has sent me, my sister, my squire, and our house slave hound to set up a monster hunting guild here in the Duskwood Forest. I know it doesn't look like much at the moment, simply a wooden shack with a spiky little fence all around it, but truly I feel that it's actually what's in our hearts that matters when setting something like this up, and I must tell you, my friends, that our hearts yearn to slay monsters. Our base of operations has been set up in probably one of the worst places that you could imagine. The Duskwood Forest is a place of the living undead. Corpses come back to life and roam the soil looking for anyone and anything that they can kill. But I think it's a testament to our true strength that we burned the entire place down shortly after setting up shop. For you see, we really prefer for our corpses to stay dead. Yes, but not only are we killing monsters, we are also rescuing people like the two elves that are currently in our care and custody after being attacked by a death knight out in the woods. Yes, I know they're sleeping on the floor. We haven't made any more beds yet, okay? We're pretty fresh here, alright? Speaking of which, wood and fires don't often mix all that well, and they don't often always work out in our favor. So I thought one of the best things for us to start doing is to begin cutting some stone. Now, I think I'll still be making a lot of our homes and things like that and other structures out of wood, but a nice great big stone wall might be nice, don't you think? Not only does stone not burn, but it's also much more durable than some spiked logs that we've been using for our walls, and that way the undead and other monstrous bastards can't easily break right through it and kill us. Although, as we were cutting up all these stones, something a bit odd ended up happening. The two elves who were in our custody and care, I mentioned a moment ago, apparently are lovers now. As they were lying on our floor, almost bleeding out, one of them started flirting with another. You know how it goes. Well, it would seem not only are we heroes who rescue people out in the woods, but we're playing matchmakers now. A couple of days later, they were fully healed of their wounds and ready to depart with one heart between them. Let's hope that not only did they fall in love, but they also learned a thing or two about, traveling to a necromancy forest without any other guards with them. And perhaps someday our kindness will be returned. Until that day, though, it would seem that we need to build this great big stone wall all by our lonesome, which kinda sucks because there's only 4 of us and only 2 of us are somewhat decent at constructing. Our home city under the House of the Rotten Boar is a little bit on the smaller side in comparison to some of the other human medieval houses, so they didn't exactly have any builders they could spare, I'm afraid. And because of that, and the fact that the stone wall all around our area here will take a very long amount of time with just a few people here, we had to really regulate ourselves working on the wall on some days, and on most other days working on other things. Including, but not limited to, a proper outhouse with a nice wooden latrine for your tuchus. Not to worry, we did our best to sand it with a sandstone block, that way no splinter should puncture. We also dug ourselves a moderate-sized wooden well so that we could go about fetching water, which would be quite crucial for the water tub we tossed out back so that we could actually properly wash ourselves for the first time since we've been here. Now you might be saying to yourself, but Rat, doesn't that mean that up until this point you've been washing and defecating into the same pools of water that also have rotting zombie corpses in them? Yes. That is what I'm saying. Quite the upgrade, don't you think? Sir Gerodus had a very strange dream. Something of a disturbing vision. Something about a green, wicked woman, laughing and cackling, not of this world, searching other dimensions and planets for the strongest warriors. And her very presence could create things like the Dusk Forest and corrupting soil and land as she goes, and nothing but muffalo shit. It was just a dream. Hey, speaking of the Dusk Forest, why don't we start chopping down some of these trees? That way we can start building everybody some proper homes. If we're going to be setting up a Monster Hunters Guild here, we need to ensure that our members have a place of their own. Being somewhere like this, doing the duties that we do could be really hard on the mind. So it's important that we take care of little things like giving everyone their own privacy and their own space. For our first couple of cottages and or cabins, whatever you prefer to call them, we are building them a bit south of our current defended area. These two cottages, of course, are going to be for Dial and Danielle, respectively. They both seem tickled plum pink to have their own little homes out here in the forest, and it's a nice little slice of normalcy in the monstrous beyond that we're staying in these days, I'll say. Speaking of which, we've began noticing a large presence in the population of giant spiders that roam these lands. And even more so, we've noticed that they're getting a little bit too close for comfort, so we're gonna have to stab them to death. Blah, I hate them when they're normal size. Let's see, there we go. I'm guessing because we burned down the forest and all the undead that roamed it, a lot of them died as well, that they're not really keeping the population of giant spiders at bay anymore. I suppose that's our job now. Although this does ponder the question, could we maybe capture these monsters, breed them, and use them to our advantage against our enemies? I think so. We do have more pressing matters at the moment, but this could be something for the old back pocket. For this one, it's already dead. Hardly matters, so I suppose we'll roast it over the fire. I should also mention that all the deforestation that we're doing isn't just so we can build new structures, nor is it for our health. This forest is, and will continue to be, a problem, so keeping it cut down like this will help us keep all the undead at bay, keep these death poles that bring the undead at bay, you get the point. But, that being said, we do also get to use the wood that we chop down, and so right now we're going to be using it for a proper storage building. Yet again, nothing more than a little log shack with some straw flooring, but it is better than keeping it in the place that we plan on using as our home and our meeting spot for all of our guild members. It ain't much, but slowly and surely this place is starting to look like a proper community. Uh-oh, some traveling elves would stop in and tell us about a nearby woman who was asking them for help from a cave. Or they say they couldn't really hear her all that well, she was yelling from inside a cave, guarded by monsters. Oh, why didn't you say so? Her location was about 3 days' journey downriver. Dial, my young squire, and myself would go out on this mission, leaving my sister and our slave in charge. I thought it only fitting that our first real mission since setting up the guild would be taken on by myself, of course. Although our journey is going to take some time, so let's check back in on that in a moment. In the meantime, back home with Danielle in charge, he would do plenty of hunting, stocking up our larders with the cursed venison flesh of some deer. Can you even eat zombie deer? I guess we'll find out. She and Miniton were also working diligently to ensure that the population of corpses wielding weapons and trying to rip our flesh from our bones was minuscule. Finally, after several days of traveling across the gaping rivers of these lands, the wooded forest, as well as some treacherous mountains, we would finally arrive. Oh, you poor thing, having to stay in that cave with those disgusting beasts for so many days. Preparing to eat you, no less. Not to worry, for we will come to your rescue. Ah, it would seem that they've already smelled us in the area. Prepare your spear for a good skewing, Dial. Funny enough, it actually looks like they were eating a porcupine, so I don't know that they're hunting us, but no doubt if they're not, they will be in just a moment. Yeah, they're eating some wildlife instead. I don't know if they're actually hunting them for food, or if it's just because they've gotten too close to the cave as well, because Marie here has yet to be eaten. That would suggest to me that they're not hunting for food at the moment. We're gonna swap over to our bows simply because... oh my god. Did it just get huge before my very eyes? Oh, it's massive now. Alright, move. Luckily, the other one is off hunting wildlife and isn't nearby, so we might be okay. Disgusting beasts. Again, I prefer... ah, there we go. I was gonna say I prefer not to have to engage in melee combat with it. Let's go ahead and finish it off. There we go. We do have the other that needs to be dealt with, which is much larger now. The thing about these creatures, I believe, is that they have wonderful senses of smell and not so much with their sight. This isn't going to be the best idea, but I'm going to throw a torch in hopes of... Okay, dial. I was really hoping you'd be able to move faster. We did stun it for a second, though, which should affect it a bit more. Here I am talking about its sight isn't all that great, and yet I throw a torch in its eyes. You know, I still think that it might be a pretty good idea to try to take what little sight it has here in the dark. These arrows are puncturing it, and yet it keeps on coming. There we go. Finally, this one was absolutely massive. It tanked a lot of arrow shots. Look at that. Good God. All right, we don't have time to waste, though. We need to rescue Marie. She's in bad shape. I'm not even going to offer her help first. I am going to immediately tend to her. Not to worry, madam, for you are safe and sound now. I'm actually going to have, yes, Dial, you're already there, but you are keeping watch at the cave entrance in case these nasty creatures maybe have any friends in the area. Now this is interesting. This nest that they have, obviously hay piles where they're sleeping, but some type of blood pyre. I suppose it's possible they weren't going to eat her, but maybe sacrifice her in a way. Quite disgusting and disturbing either way. God only knows what goes through the heads of these disgusting monsters, but, you know. Alright, so we have tended to her. Let us offer her help. And she has decided to join us at the Monster Hunters Guild. Awful kind of you, madam. I suppose then we should get you home, and we should also get you some clothing. Put a spear in your hand, and you are ready for action. And with that being said, myself, Marie, as well as my young squire, would all begin making the long journey all the way back home upriver. Again, though, this is going to take several days, so let's check back in a moment. Meanwhile, back home, Danielle and Miniton were actually setting up some small fields of tilled soil that we were going to be planting our crops in. Currently, we're going to be growing some potatoes as well as onions, perfect for a nice warm stew. Uh-oh. Well, that little bit of peace and growing crops lasted all of about 10 seconds. It looks like we're being attacked by orcs. So you're telling me we've been here for a few months, we burned down this haunted necromancy forest, and then all of a sudden orcs start showing up? Yeah, I don't think that's a coincidence. These cowards were waiting on someone else to do it, and now they think they can get the upper hand. I think not. Not if we and our cannon have anything to say about it. There was a little bit of collateral damage with some of our structures. We completely forgot to move our cannons, I'll be honest with you. But thanks to our cannon, 1 down and 2 more to go. This one was a bit more brave than the others, coming straight through our defenses and also getting stabbed right in the side by our spear. That's a shame. For you. Their leader was much less brave, and seeing his 2 comrades fall in battle, he decided to run away. Orcs tend to be cowards when it counts. We did end up creating a great big fire in Danielle's cottage, but that was okay, as we could easily stomp it out with enough time, and we could also snuff out what remained of this orc's life. They're basically monsters themselves, no reason to try to take them prisoner. Although, this one here had a more feminine, human-like shape. This is unlike any other orc we've seen before. We stripped her of her armor and captured her. My God, she's a hybrid. Half human, half orc. Surely the captain will want to decide her fate once he returns. With any luck, she might actually make a good hunter. But she is still half orc, so she could be a merciless creature of the night. We'll wait and see. For obvious reasons, though, we don't want to be storing her in our main tower in the center of our little guild village here that we're building, so we're actually going to start working on a temporary jail. Nothing too fancy, just a log shack, as most of our structures are, with a straw floor, and also a few beds, things like that. That way they can stay warm, not because we care, but so that she doesn't freeze to death. I expect that there could be many more like her hybrids out there that could make for good hunters, or we might have to question them. They might be intelligent enough to answer a few of our questions. And if not, the straw will soak up the blood as well. Ah, speak of the devil, the captain, his squire, and our new huntress have all finally returned home. We would begin introducing Marie to everyone and letting her make their acquaintance to tell her own story, though, of what happened out there and how we ended up rescuing her. I think that her vengeance and lust for revenge against these monsters is going to be great and will help us fuel our mission. Although she won't be able to really accomplish anything while she's butt naked and bare-handed, so how about we let her go ahead and equip that orc's weaponry and armor? It's better than nothing for the time being until we can make some or we can purchase some. Ah, there we are. Better than nothing, as mentioned. A nice leather breastplate, a rusty axe, and a rusty iron helm. Alright, after this though, the captain would enter the makeshift prison that we've built and would begin deciding the fate of the half-breed creature. If she has any way of thinking like a human in that great big bulbous green head of hers, that means she might be able to understand, think, and also control her orc strength. That could be perfect for us. I say we give it a try, and we'll let her join us. Ah, it looks like Dial is throwing a party to celebrate a successful mission, as well as Marie joining us. He would end up throwing this little soiree in his house. We didn't have any mead or ale, unfortunately, but we did have some nice venison soup. Oh, sister, you shouldn't have. Oh. Was this from one of those zombie deer? Ugh. As the party was winding down, we ended up having some visitors traveling through the area from House Oswin. We would guarantee their safety. And it looks like we're going to have to. We are currently moving in to assist the traveler. Oh no! He got killed by the stupid Death Knight. Damn! Let's see if we can use our bow here. Go, and let's just jump in with the bill hook. Oh god, both of them! Well, so much for guaranteeing their safety, I guess. Oh my god. Oh, okay, well, we did end up killing it. Oh, House Oswin. I would say they'd be upset with us, but this is kinda their fault. Not really ours, but we tried our best. Let's finish you off. And there we go. That's so sad. I really didn't want that to happen, and now we have to burn their bodies for the before the next death pail comes through. We do have a lot of items from them. I mean, they're not going to use them, right? So, we might as well. I can tell you for a fact that Marie would be more than tickled to get into that little pile of armor from our now deceased friends. She's looking better already. Speaking of, we desperately don't need our deceased friends becoming our enemies, nor that orc coming back to life, so we torched their bodies. Now then, with that out of the way, I think it's time that we start building some more houses for everyone, since we have more people joining the guild. First and foremost, we need to build a cottage for Marie, and then the last cottage we ended up building would be for Sir Gerardus. He is a true leader of these folks, as he has been staying in the tower, just really roughing it, as he would make sure that all of his soldiers had their own places first before he. Such a selfless leader. We also ended up building a small little shack for Minitin. You know, we're not going to be mean to her or cruel just because she's enslaved by the House of the Rotten Boar. But we also don't have to give her some gigantic mansion, of course. And since everyone now has their own proper lodgings, all the soldiers under our command, and we as Sir Gerardus ourselves, it's time that we focus a lot of our building, constructing, and manpower in general back towards the wall. Again, this is a gigantic project that is going to take a very long time, especially since we don't have all that many people. But if we don't get an early start on it, there's a good chance we'll never get it finished before some horde of undead or giant monster hive attacks us and murders everyone, leaving our entrails through the streets. It took a very long time, but we eventually got the southern and also a bit of the eastern and western parts of the wall completed. at least for now. I suppose we had just better be praying to our gods that an attack doesn't come from the north. We did finally move our cannons down here, so if we do get attacked from the south, we'll be able to fire them out through the embrasures in the stone walls at our enemies. But if we get attacked from the north, we can all run down here, and as our little city is getting sacked, we can prep our cannons, turn them around, and use them against the attackers. Well, that's the plan at least. Now, something else we kind of touched on earlier is the fact that we need to start making our own weapons and armor, since we're most likely not going to be able to purchase it, at least not right off the bat. We're not exactly getting paid for our efforts here, so we'll have to do some trading to make any silver. Until that time, I think we should go about making our own blacksmith shop so that we could smith our own weapons and armor. I'd be lying to you though if I said that any of us here were really all that masterful at smithing. Although I don't think it's going to matter all that much. We just need a point, need to make it sharp, and I think we could do the rest. We are some pretty skillful warriors. Even so, it might be a good idea to keep an eye out for a useful smith, somebody skilled at the profession, as well as most other professions like tailoring and what have you. It kind of reminds me as well, I think next episode we might start working on some lodgings for visitors, people who are traveling through the forest and need a safe place to stay. Let me know what you guys think about that. It would include me adding the hospitality mod, so I don't think anybody would mind. Although I don't want to overdo it, as I do use that mod a lot. Now, not only are we building a blacksmith shop to go about making weapons, but we're going to be trying to take care of other basic needs that we're going to need here, like butchering. I'm not going to be building a butchering shop just yet, but instead of using a spot where we're using our own daggers to gut and skin animals, as well as other things that we're eating, I think we need a proper butchering table as well as some racks where we can dry said meat. Finally, rotten venison and spider jerky all around. By this point, we also finally recruited the half-breed orc into our ranks, and she even managed to gurgle out in English that her name is Maverick. Perhaps she isn't a total beast. Still yet, we're going to be keeping a close eye on you. Lucky for you, my green friend, your armor is still vacant at the moment, even though Marie had worn it for a very brief period of time, just kind of keeping it warm for you. Speaking of which, it looks like you found a nice long coat to keep you warm this fall and winter. During this time, we were also going throughout the forest and searching some of these corpse piles, as many of them actually had a few different riches like iron and gold ore that we could use in our new blacksmith shop. We also began tearing down these damn dirty necromancy shrines, not only for the steel that they had, but also because the dead no longer own this forest. Which also brings me to my next point. We're really setting up a nice little place for ourselves here, and yet we still haven't named it. Lucky enough for me, I asked you fine folks last episode for some suggestions, and as always, you were more than happy to oblige, and I very much appreciate it. For the name of our monster hunting guild, we are going to be calling ourselves the Unyielding Light, under the Rotten Boar House, of course. A great suggestion from our friend True Scarab. Now, personally, I really like this one because, well, we are the only light in the darkness of these undead necromancy forests. Metaphorically, but also literally. As for the actual guild physical itself here, our little settlement that we've created and carved out here in the forest, we're going to be calling it Lux in Tenebris, which, as pointed out by our good friend Internet Shark, is Latin for light in the darkness. A wonderful name. Perfect, sticking with the theme and the reasoning as to why we called ourselves the Unyielding Light Monster Hunting Guild, which is quite a mouthful, and sticking with that theme going together, I think they're both quite nice. And last but not least, we actually have a wonderful name for our tower from our friend Yayani_K, with that being Hope's Refuge. Now, I see you also said Last Light. I would go with that, but I feel like 3 for 3 is too many on the light-based names. Now, that also brings me to a point. I'm not exactly sure what I want to do with the tower just yet. I wanted it to maybe be our meeting place where we plan out our monster hunts and things like that, and I suppose we could, but I was also considering this might be the place where we allow visitors and travelers to stay so that they're completely safe right in the center of the settlement. Let me know what you guys think, though. In front of the tower, though, next to where we're doing our stone cutting, we're also going to be building a great big pyre where we can burn plenty of wood at all times. But it's not only wood that we're going to be burning here. We can also go about burning the corpses of all those skeletons and others that we kill that we don't plan on butchering to get any of the scraps of armor and metal. And the pyre itself was also a great suggestion from our friend Crusadeion Albion. I may have mispronounced your name, so I apologize, but thank you for pointing out that I can actually use these pyres to burn corpses. Absolute game changer. This makes things much more efficient and much easier. How do we have so many corpses, you might be asking yourself? Well, off screen, I am actually still hunting monsters. That is technically the name of the game for us in these parts. Constantly killing skeletons and constantly killing death knights. I just haven't really been showing it off all that much because there really isn't anything interesting about me killing another 5 death knights every few days, or 5 to 6 skeletons every day, right? The only time I'm really showing anything is when I find it to be a bit interesting myself, like the Death Knight that we just killed, who is our first to actually have a sword and a shield. But even he would fall to our cannons quite easily. Now when it comes to hunting down other more interesting monsters and unique ones that we've yet to see, I'll be sure to show you, which might be coming up in just a second. Because as we were spending a lot of time building new torches all around our walls so that we can truly be a beacon of light and hope here in the forest, and that way people can also see us quite easily as they're traveling through the forest, we had received word from some of our elven allies in the area traveling through that there were monsters in the southeastern part of the forest just by the river. Apparently some type of pig-like creature, though much larger, with serrated tusks that are sharp and can penetrate armor. They've been attacking groups of caravans and travelers in the area, and it looks like we're gonna need to go and deal with him. Well, that's fine by us, but it does seem as if these beasts might be a bit more difficult than the ghoulish creatures that we saved Marie from, and because of that, we are going to be bringing myself, Marie, my sister Danielle, as well as Maverick. We might need her sheer orc strength during a time like this. The 4 of us would set out trekking through the forest and up the river. It's times like these that I really wish we had some ancient stags to mount. It really makes journeys much faster. Maybe in the future, though. We would end up arriving sometime later. This portion of the forest was dark and gloomy, with a death pole that was just now beginning to dissipate. It was clear that this one had not been affected by our great big fire we started. Perhaps we'll have to burn it soon, with a great big sprawling water stream going right through the middle, reminding us of the river Styx from legend. It also wouldn't take us long at all before we would locate the lair of these monsters, gigantic looking boars known as, fittingly, hell boars. It looks like we're not the only ones who have tried to eradicate them over the years, or even in recent weeks. So the thing to remember about hellboars is they're pretty fast. They're actually about as fast as the average human, which is about 4.4. I think most of us are going to be a bit slower though because of our plate armor. For example, actually Siguratics is 4.6, so he's probably a bad example. Everyone's about 4.6, so they're actually about as fast as we are. So that means we can't exactly just run away from them. We kinda can, but not exactly. They might not be hostile to us right off the bat either, which is good, because that'll mean that we have time to plan out our attack, and also to kinda come at them from a distance. I'm gonna drop Siguratus brought a great bow, an extra. Perfect for Marie, I'll say. Eat your onions, madam. Have to eat some onions to prepare for a good battle. We do also have our fire pots, which we could use to burn down the entire forest, as well as the hellboars. It might be worth burning them to kind of start off with here, because that's going to cause them to run around. Now, if we attack while the other ones are away, they may not even notice. Now, again, they're not oh wow, we killed that one pretty quickly, actually. I was gonna say, again, they're not all that hostile right from the get-go, but if they get going, we have to be very careful, because if they catch us, they are going to rip us to shreds. Like right now, we need to move. Move, move, move. Oh, there we go. That was pretty easy, actually. Yeah. Go ahead and finish that one off. And we'll find... Oh, wow. We'll find the third and final. Before we search for him, though, we should probably go about destroying this nest first. That way we don't have to worry about maybe any more hatching. I don't think this is actually one of their nests. They probably commandeered it, most likely. Looks like we have a oh, shit. Oh, go. No. There he is. Oh, man, he bit Maverick. That's not good. Oh, man, that is not good. Keep going. Oh, it looks... Phew. Oh, that was close. How bad off are you? Oh, toxic buildup, infectious bite, and teeth. Now, you'll notice that it looks like she's already healing a bit from this. And I think that this is a special trait that orcs seem to have. Yeah, so she's kind of healing up a bit on her own. And again, it seems like this is something that orcs are capable of. We need to go back over here and start destroying the nest a bit. I've got everybody using... Oh, no. Okay. Whoa. I had everyone on their spears. Swap back over to the bow. The death pole has already began. Oh, shit. This is so much worse. We should have immediately torched their corpses. Speaking of, why don't we start doing that right now? Okay, move. That actually might help us out quite a bit. They're already on fire. Oh, man, this is not good. Not what we wanted at all. Oh, good lord. Keep moving. Please keep moving. Through the forest. We're about to get into combat with that fellow. The issue is... Okay, so we have them burning. The issue is we're about to run into the river in a minute, and we're not going to be able to go across. We did kill one of them. We're gonna need to maybe stand our ground right here, and we might be able to finish them off. This hellbore should go down at some point because it's on fire. Oh yeah, the death pole. I didn't even register until it was too late. I saw the little guy there, the soldier that the hellbores had killed. I saw him starting to twitch, and I was like, oh no, death pole. And I was like, oh no, death pole. Okay, we might be able to kill the boar with our backs against the wall here. It's pretty badly injured, so we might be able to use our spears if need be. Let's go this. There we go. We killed it. And you dirty son of a bitch. You are next. The third hellbore. They're a lot scarier when they're resurrected by necromancy. Okay, that one's dead too. And it's already on fire, which is good. Okay, immediately swap over to fire pots. Instead of trying to destroy a nest, we are going to be finishing them off by burning them. Okay, so they should burn. That one hellbore is already gone. We have one more somewhere that we need to burn. No, it already burned itself. Good. That is absolutely perfect. Let's go back, finish off the nest. I don't think that any more are going to come from it, but just in case. I don't want any other hellbore to find it, you know? I don't want anything like that to happen. We do have a obsidian sword lance. Suppose that could be payment for our efforts here. Major break risk, Maverick, that's fine. Go ahead and sleep since you need to. And the rest of us are actually going to go ahead and destroy this. I would burn it like I talked about, but there we go. It's actually some feathers. Huh. Harp eagle oily feather. That's interesting. That might be useful. And we have mega bones. Okay. We could probably use some of that stuff. I do want to also destroy these altars or braziers, statues, whatever they are. Some filthy, cursed ritual trash. So we'll go ahead and do that. And we have actually cleared the area of any and all hellbores. Now, there's probably some undead wandering around these forests somewhere. I think we should probably start up a pretty decent-sized forest fire. But before I do that, I want to pick up these additional weapons like the sword lance. Let's go ahead and pick all this stuff up. All right. And now we are ready to start some forest fires. Let's burn this shit show down to the ground. Hopefully this will help keep the area clear of monsters furthermore, especially the undead. And it'll also hopefully help us out with getting rid of these death poles in the area. Because it's not just the region that we live in, it's the entire forest that is the issue. Okay. So we kind of got one started there. We'll need to do another here. Here we go. Burn it all, baby. Burn it all. Go ahead and get it there. Okay. Alright, that should be a pretty good start. We'll light a few other spots, and then I think we should be golden. Oh shit, there it is again, the hellbore. The exact same hellbore. Oh my god, okay, we'll burn the hellbore. Yeah, look, we're gonna start a few more fires. We're gonna burn this shithole to the ground, and we're getting the hell out of here. I'm not going to, die to the same hellbore that keeps coming back to life, okay? Burn it alive, and let's be done with it. Or not burn it alive, but you know what I mean. There we go. Alright, let's light a few more fires and let's go. And light a few more fires we would indeed, burning down this entire section and region of this damned forest. Lighting on fire all the undead in the area as well. As these skeletons were burning to pieces, we would make our grand escape, heading all the way back home, which we would arrive at shortly thereafter. As we were walking back to the safety of our walls, we heard a boom in the sky with a gleaming light. Several lights. It would seem there's a meteor shower. I don't know how to explain it, but we couldn't shake the feeling that this meteor shower might be some type of retribution almost for burning so many large regions of the forest. Almost like the corruption itself were in pain. Nevertheless, looks like we have plenty of ore to mine now with these meteorites, once we're finished storing all of the things from our journey, that is. I must tell you, my friends, I'm pretty impressed with the significant progress that we've made today. Look at our settlement, how large it is now, with our walls beginning to span half of the area that we plan on building in. At this rate, we might be able to turn this into something of a monster hunting city. That might be a little too ambitious, but we'll see. We've also increased the amount of hunters that we have quite significantly, adding almost half of what we already had. And hopefully here's to many, many more. But that will be next time. See you later.